Now, there are so many different things wrong with the Walt Disney Company in 2024, ranging from their television programs to their feature films, whether it's live action or animated, with the exception of Inside Out 2. There's also a lot of other disasters on the horizon for 2025. Now, we also have to address the ongoing ratings disaster for ABC and all of their other programs like The View, Good Morning America, etc., etc. But what's interesting here has a lot more to do with Joy Behar of The View going through yet another disastrous moment for herself as a talk show host, as a quote-unquote actress or comedian, as she likes to call herself so many times, and it's not a good year for her as much as it is for Whoopi Goldberg, and what's been going on with her for various different reasons at different studios. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So I think that we could all agree here that Joy Behar is by far one of the worst people on live television, if not the worst. Now, what's interesting about Behar is that we know that she, as of now, in 2024, is trying to reignite her career in different paths, much like Whoopi Goldberg is trying to do because of what's been going on with ABC. Now, we know that Joy Behar is trying to go back to her roots as a comedian, as an actress to a certain level, but more so as a comedian, alright? If you even want to call her that. I mean, I never found her funny, to be quite honest. That's just my take on things. But focusing on Behar here, this is where things begin to pick up, and what's been going on between herself and a major Hollywood studio, mind you. Now, falling into this entire drama with the Walt Disney Company and all of its divisions going through numerous setbacks and challenges due to box office failures, Iger's cost-cutting measures, and more, one major development now has more to do with Behar of The View and what recently happened between herself and a major studio. It turns out that Joy Behar has been in deep conversations with HBO to reignite her stand-up comedy career for a new HBO special. Much like how Whoopi Goldberg is attempting to do with other studios, however, Behar in recent weeks made everything difficult where she demanded HBO's studio executives to elongate the special from 1 hour to 1 hour and 45 minutes, give or take, since she wanted to use new extra material that she had created at last minute. This sparked serious arguments between the HBO heads and Joy Behar and her team to the point where the conversations got very ugly and heated, and one thing led to another where HBO decided to fire Behar and axe the entire project that was going to be dubbed, to get this, Bring On the Joy Special. Now, Behar was going to be paid an estimated $15 million for this special alone, this comedy special, that was planned to air on HBO Max and HBO by early 2025. The plan was to film the special by this January. In addition to all of this, Joy Behar also had outrage moments with the studio heads, where HBO wanted to change the set and the ambience of the special and the location of its on stage, where it would be shot. Behar had a serious problem with that last-minute change and was best described to be a control freak after HBO wanted to shift it from a specific location in California instead of New York. Behar was demanding a New York location for the filming of her Bring On the Joy comedy special that is now officially scrapped by HBO. Already, Behar behind the scenes reportedly had gotten very emotional over this decision by HBO to call it quits and to cross out their deal of $15 million with Joy Behar of The View. Now, to make matters worse for Behar's sake is that this special was also going to grant her an additional comedy special if it performed well toward a catered audience that they were hoping to reach on HBO, and that a follow-up special would have paid an estimated $20 to $23 million, a $5 million plus increase from her last one. That would have been done in 2026. Now, all of these plans by HBO are now going to be replaced by another younger comedian to take her place at the California location where it is to be filmed. Now, guys, let me just say one thing about this. I think that Behar deserves everything that she gets because, look, this is the same exact scenario of what happened with Whoopi Goldberg. We talked about this in recent days where they had a deal with DreamWorks, or she had a deal with DreamWorks to star in Shrek 5 and the Donkey spin-off film as the voiceover character of a new villain. And she basically wanted to negotiate a couple extra $1 million here and there, and it really got a lot of, argumentative conversations out of that. One thing led to another as well, to where DreamWorks basically saw what Walt Disney did when they dropped her from Toy Story 5, and that really kind of gave them a lack of confidence about Goldberg's involvement in Shrek 5. Now with this, basically Behar did not like the fact of two things. They were changing locations from New York to California. They wanted it done in California, she wanted it done in New York, and that created a lot of arguments. The other thing is that she wanted to elongate this thing from 1 hour to 1 hour and 45 minutes, which I think is a very big stretch for Behar to make such demands against the HBO studio executives. And we've seen this before with many different comedians. I don't know if you guys recall, but HBO does have a track record like this where they had a falling out with multiple comedians for various comedy specials, throughout the 2000s and the 2010s in particular. Now, on top of that, this all comes in the wake of both Whoopi and Joy desperately trying to expand their careers beyond The View, since the ratings for both The View and ABC are tanking since September of this year. And to make the situation more extreme is that Behar is also looking to actually make deals with other studios now that HBO is out of the equation for a new comedy special. It is said to be a very difficult task for her that is endlessly backfiring, since a lot of studios are also beginning to wake up and see that The View's ratings are really either stagnating or just falling at a very alarming rate. Now, look, we know that Joy Behar does not belong on television. I pointed this out many times, that she really is only catering to a very small niche of those that are either tuning into The View, or, as a lot of people would like to put it, those that are flipping through channels and accidentally land on The View and just kind of have it on just for who knows for what reason. They just accidentally land on the channel. That happens a lot, more often than not, to be honest. But what's interesting about this is that Joy Behar is an overly demanding person, is an overly demanding, TV show host, much like Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny. It's not a big shocker there. Really not a big surprise at all, given that she's also a Disney hire. This is typically how they behave, a lot of them, by the way. Specifically the ones on the programs like Good Morning America, The View, Jimmy Kimmel Live. I'm really not a big fan of Jimmy Kimmel at all, by the way. I've made that openly clear throughout the years. But what's interesting about this is the fact that you have Joy now in a situation, now in a phase, where she's trying to go back to her comedy career, back to her stand-up comedy phase from years ago, and she's really trying to make that work, because The View, as of late, it's really beginning to backfire as more and more people are beginning to wake up about the nonsense happening over at ABC. So overall, I would love to hear what everyone has to say about Joy and Whoopi and their overall stand on trying to expand their careers. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.